Okay. May I now call upon Datuk Hisham Hamdan, one of our mentors of the board mentoring scheme, to share his observations, wisdom, and advice as a board chairman, board member, and executive director. Datuk Hisham, may I please invite you to the stage?
Yeah. Thank you, Shireen, and good afternoon, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is Khazanah Auditorium, that's what it calls. I remember writing a check or memo on that for Tan Sri Azman. It cost us a bit of money. So, and YB, let's see whether potential board members can help you to improve performance of corporate Malaysia. I think you need it. You know, your budget, I think there's big gap there. And you ask YB, one of the difficult things for him to do is forecast his oil price. I'm sure that would be. Anyway, given this also MIT, sort of ASB related to MIT, I think rather than me giving a lecture, I think we'll do an interactive session. Is that all right? So because TP told me that for the mentees, existing potential mentees and the old mentees, there'll be some exam after this, 5 questions. So make sure you pay attention. Huh? So one of the things about being a board member and also aspiring board members is you need to know what's happening around you. Right? So let me ask a quick question. Malaysia's GDP in US dollars, who can answer? Malaysia GDP. Maybe later on, like susah you answer. Malaysia GDP, is that 100 billion US dollars? 500 billion US dollars? $1 trillion US dollars? Anybody? I know some of you know this. Google, yeah, Google, go ahead. 120 billion. Too small. More, how much more? 300 billion. Sikit. About there, yeah, 380, 10 points. Yeah, that one. Okay, how many percent of Malaysia GDP as percentage of total GDP of Asian countries? 5, 10 or 15%? Who vote for 5%? Okay, 5%. Everybody must put up their hand. 10%. TP is watching. 15%. Okay, looks like 15%. Now let's do the math. These are MIT. Make sure you don't fail me. Okay, what is China GDP? Come on, you can Google. 18 trillion US dollars. US, 23 trillion US dollars. Okay, China 18. All right? Okay, help me to count. Japan, 5. ASEAN, roughly about 3 trillion US dollars, 3.2. India, 3.2. Berapa dah? 5 plus 3 plus 3. 11 trillion US dollars. Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, probably about slightly under 3. So 14 plus. And then Middle East, roughly about 3. So 18 plus 18, how much is that? 36%. So give me again, Malaysia GDP of total Asian countries, 1%. Okay. So the point is, you are on the board, whatever you do, you always need to know your company will always be affected by US or China, whatever it is, right? Especially right now, the 2 most important people in the world is Jay Powell. Some of you understand about the increased interest rate, and also Xi Jinping. He's going to be elected potentially in mid-October. So very important to know your macro, right? Second questions. When is Malaysia's capital market? We moved to capital market now. When they did well over the last 30 years? Some of you live in the mid-90s, right? The roaring 90s. Yeah? Roaring 90s, mid-80s was recession. Because interest rate was low, the US, so the money came here. When again, 2004 to 2007, commodity super cycle, pump oil price went up. You can ask the board member assigned plantation there. Partly bioethanol and biodiesel policy. 2008, market crash. When did it again? Recently, commodity super cycle. Glove company. And then the debt super cycle, that's where all the consumer company did well. That's where Malaysian company did well within 2014, peak in 2014. So let me move to the third question. What is KLCI now? Anybody? 1,500 thereabout. All of Sherry Pandela. When was KLCI 1,500? Let's say, how many years back? It's about 2010. 2010, we were 1,500, now we're 1,500. 12 years later. Somewhere between 1900, came 2015, went up, 2018. So what is the return per year? Roughly about 4% in ringgit, and US dollar less than 1%, right? So the issue with our companies, that's why we need all of you to join some of the big company board and then shake them up a bit, right? Sorry, you better be careful. The men can't do it, so we need all of you. They just. So let me ask you, what is the ROE of Malaysian company, KLCI, roughly? By the way, S&P 500 is 16%, US companies. Anybody? 12? 7, 8%. We are among the lowest in Asia. We were at 17% in 2007 when plantation company did well. We were at 14% in 2013, 2014, and temper tantrum happened, i.e. ringgit weakened. Sorry, hopefully give me another 3 minutes. So since then, we'll be going down to 8%. So we need a better board. We need a better company. We need a better management. That's potentially your role, right? When you are on the board. So what does it take to improve from, let's say, 8 to 10%, additional 2% ROE? PE of 15, if we increase from 8 to 10%, profit of the company will go up by roughly about 17 billion ringgit. Market cap will go up almost 300 billion ringgit. Good for shareholders, for your PMB funds, for your EPF. Tengku Zarful is not here. He will get additional 7 to 10 billion tax revenue. Jobs will be created. Senior management will be able to do more things, right? So that's very important. That's a need for board members. So the question is, how do you change the company? 55%, I'm going to go very quickly, 55% based on wherever they are, you cannot change them. Because that depending on their endowment, their balance sheet, the sector they're in, geography. But there are other 45% you can change them, right? Either through positioning, whether they play premium, whether they play low cost. If you're in the middle, you're kiss of death zone, right? You can change their resource allocation. If you are in the wrong sector and a difficult sector, there's not much you can do. So understanding of this, very, very important. Let's move on. How do they select board members, right? You get to know, you get a network. You got to get to know the headhunters. They will sometimes employ headhunters and look for 5, 6 candidates, right? You got to know the chairman of the company, CEO of the company. You got to know the alpha board members in some of the company. So if Khazanah controls their company, the oldest executive director sitting there. You got to know him. Or PMB will have somebody there. or EPF will only have somebody there, right? So no doubt they're looking for independent, but potentially it's good to network to get to know all these people. That's for GLC. Obviously, they are, company owned by entrepreneurs, right? So you got to know those people. LinkedIn. To be fair, chances are they will find somebody that their friends, somebody will refer to them. But if you do not know any of these people, you start to be active in LinkedIn. Therefore, you have to create your story. Most of the CV that I got is, chances are, it's been a while since you guys did your CV, very chronological. Sekolah sini, first job, second job, third job, fourth job. It's nice, but you need to have stories. Maybe you are cluster yourself in one sector, plantation. Whether you are analyst, whether you are work for a company, or then you cluster yourself, maybe financial, CFO, audit committee, or those kind of. So you need to cluster your story. And maybe I'll leave you with a few questions that you can ask the chairman or CEO of the company if you're on the board. So the board only has to worry about, or should worry about, comparative advantage. Most companies say they have comparative advantage. If they do have comparative advantage, their return should be higher than their competitors. If not, you should ask them again. They should know their positioning. Remember Mydin, Jaya Grocer? They're very clear about positioning. You go to Mydin, cheap, thousands of people coming out, that's sweaty. But you go to Jaya, very nice, but you pay premium. Who died in the middle of late when Mydin put their store next to them? Giant Tesco, right? Kiss of death. Airline. Who's premium? SQ, Emirates, Qatar. Who's down here? Also almost dead lah. Asia. But they're very clear. You pay cheap tickets, they cancel you lah, lambat lah, delay lah, but you pay cheap. 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, right? Who's in the middle? Latifah, sorry, dia cakap. I didn't give them the answer. See, it's like, if you are in the middle, it's like pakai kain plekat, pakai songket. So, songket tak panjang kan? You decide. You want to cover your pusat or your lutut? You decide. Ini nak cover dua-dua, lama you die. Itu yang. So, positioning of your company, same thing. Your property, whatever it is, you decide. You are low cost or premium. Palm oil, got no choice. Be the lowest cost producer. And hopefully RSPO is there. So you ask them what you're positioning. That means your comparative advantage. Second thing, almost the end, Shireen? Just one. You need to understand if company, multiple businesses, ask them, do you have a parenting advantage or not? How do you ask them the questions? Are you in the right industry? Are you in a good industry? Yes or no? Right? If say yes, look at the ROE of the most of the companies there. Is it higher than the weighted cost of capital? If it's yes, it's a good industry. Right? Consumer, discretionary, sometimes a good industry. Property, not so good. Airline is way down there. So if you're there, you're going to be really working very hard as a board. Then if they say, yes, we are in a good industry, then you ask them. They say they own 5 different businesses. So ask them, do you add value to this business? Whoever, ask them company. If they say, yes, we're adding value, then you ask them, are you adding value more than what it costs you? Which means the corporate center could be 200 people. They add value, but they forgot the cost of corporate center. Right? And the final question, maybe not the second final question is, okay, if you think you add value more than the cost of your running it, if somebody else is going to own that particular business unit, do you think they can add better value than you as a parent? If they are, they should sell the business, potentially. Anyway, those are some of the questions. I can go on and on. Some of the skill set that hopefully that you will acquire. And I'm very happy that we're going to have potentially few hundreds of new board members. I think, as I said it, our company in Malaysia need it. Corporate Malaysia, the top 30, one of the worst in terms of performance in terms of ROE. That's why our cash hasn't moved. The only return is come from that dividend 2-3%, right? So we need the board members to go there, help to fix the company. If the chairman doesn't understand, that's why you teach them, ask them difficult questions, then all of us will benefit. The government will get more tax, shareholders get more return, dividend and share price. Our kids will get good job because the company is growing, and senior management can do bigger things. So all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Datuk Hisham. That was very candid discourse and insights and advice. Thank you very much.